My father's family in Poland were recruited to service or put on more intensive farming or production, and of course my father wanted himself to join the Army, but he was then working on a shipyard, and that was declared to be essential to the war effort, so he couldn't go. And he said he always resented the fact that all those other friends of his went over to hobnob with the mademoiselles in Paris, and he had to stay on in the shipyards in Baltimore. I had no idea. I was just going to go to school and follow my father's footsteps and become an engineer, but after I went to West Point, of course, changed the whole course of my life to a military career. I was graduated from West Point in 1941, and then I served in Italy and Africa and Italy in World War II from beginning to end. I served in Korea during the Korean War from beginning to end, and I served in 1961 for a year in Vietnam to take armed helicopters to Vietnam. Then, after 38 years of military service, I did 12 more years of civilian service. The first 4 years as a chief strategic army negotiator, the next 4 years as an advisor to the president and special ambassador roving around the world. So that's the way I finished up 50 years of my government service. Bradley, from the time I entered West Point in 1937, had been preaching that we should move away from horses to armor, and that we should begin picking up more and more aircraft in the Army because there were some countries like Russia, which was working with parachutists, and there were some countries like Germany, which were working with a blitzkrieg armor and an aircraft, so fighter aircraft. So Bradley was an innovator. He kept saying, we've got to begin moving faster and with more intent in the Army to change our old ways.
How was he as a lecturer?
He was superb. He was by far the best lecturer we had. He steeped in military history, knew his subject material very well, and used a great deal of theatrics and histrionics. And he got your attention in the beginning and held you riveted to the end. I just remember that I would always try to get a question in on the question and answer period because I was very much interested in the changes and bringing parachutes into the Army, also bringing tanks into the Army.
Was it an intimidating experience to ask him a question?
No, I don't think so. He put you very much at ease, and not intimidating. It was, I would say, more exhilarating and impressive, even inspiring. My immediate instructor in tactics was Lieutenant John K. Waters, and Waters was engaged to Beatrice Patton's daughter. When the Patton came up to lecture, Waters had his future wife and father-in-law come up and would have me in to dinner with him and lunch. So I remember having on 2 occasions, once a lunch and once a dinner. He didn't particularly want to talk about the business or the tactics, so I did. I tried to get him engaged. He was more for small talk and individual talk, social talk at the social occasions. Patton was quite an athlete. He had been a runner-up in the Olympics back in his cadet days. So he was quite a all-around pentathlon sportsman.
Do you think the film was an accurate portrayal of General Patton?
It portrayed Patton as a handsome, robust, big imposing figure, and Patton was not. He was shorter, not particularly terrific posture or anything. He spoke with a squeaking voice, but on the other hand, he did speak with a lot of theatrics and highly motivating, inspiring talk. So it was not the Patton that I knew as an individual. Being a student of history and very much interested in the military, he was interested in what different countries were doing, and he particularly followed the two countries, Russia, with their new parachute ideas. They were the first ones to drop people out of the sky in parachutes. And also he followed the Nazis and their blitzkrieg, was a combination of armor and aircraft to back it up. So he was quite a student of innovation and press for the Army to innovate. I followed some of the same techniques, and of course I learned quite a bit from my mentor, Smokey Joe Wood, who was a master psychologist of troops and great believer in not only the honor but the dignity of soldiers. So he had quite a few of the same close order drill and other ideas, including a lot of competition among soldiers and new ideas of training to do things faster and better. Patton and Montgomery had tremendous egos and wanted to do things their own way, and of course their own ways were different. Patton was for moving out boldly, even though he was analytical and cautious. Once he made up his mind, he thought that we should move boldly. Yes, Bradley was a believer in personal example and layback technique and showing people through example how to do things. Patton was more theatrical, more believer in doing things emotionally and fiery speeches and whatnot. And so there were two different types of characters. I would say the most respected general in the field was General Bradley. His quiet leadership, profound belief in the soldiers, exuding confidence. I would say he known for his bravery and judgment. So in the field, I think it was Bradley. Back home, because it was General Marshall who was able to put things together on a higher level. I think 1946 stands out in my mind because before the end of the war, 1945, spring of 45, were 10 of us in a command group, and a large shell from a coastal battery, 18-inch shell, hit in the middle of us, and 6 were wounded, 3 were killed, and I was the only one that walked away. And I always remembered that with a great deal of poignant memory. The fact that we as veterans don't like to talk about our experiences doesn't mean that we don't think about them, and it moves us greatly. And we often feel that people forget what our colleagues and friends went through and being wounded and maimed for life, some of the supreme sacrifice. So my message is keep these people very much in your mind and let them know that you appreciate what they and others did for this country. Well, I can't leave without praising ParadeRest high enough for this program and for the support that you give veterans and their family. Thank you very much. You're doing a very noble thing, a very necessary thing, and it's a highly patriotic thing, which we appreciate a great deal.